to wait to hear. This party started soon. Really soon. You dig? Alright, let's see here. While I wait for people to get here, let me get some things in order real quick. Let's see here. Turn that on. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Boom, boom. Hit that button there. Hit that one right there. Hit that one. Hit that one and that one. And I think we are good. There we go. We got about 126 people up in here. What's up, Brandy? What up, Dollar Silver? What up, The Undead? Jason, Emily, Brandon, Laura, Mia. Tesha, is that Tesha? Lilia? Wait, Liliana? It's a bunch of people up in here now. Y'all, we is here. It's a Mr. Ballin' kind of night, y'all. It's a Mr. Ballin' kind of night. And he got a new one out that I've been dying to get to. It's been out for about a week and a half now. This is Police Prank Criminal on Camera. Think y'all know I gotta wait till we hit that 250 mark before I can hit that play button. But we're getting close. We're about at 171 right now. And we've been here how long now? Let me go back to the lab. Almost 2 minutes. Not bad. Not bad at all. How y'all doing? How are y'all doing? Welcome. Welcome on in, everybody. I see y'all. Dylan, Tiffany, Colorblind. I see y'all. Brandy. I see y'all. Brandon. Howdy. All right, y'all. I think I'm about ready to get this party started. We're about to hit the 200 mark. Y'all, again, this is Police Prank Criminal on Camera. Let's hear this. We're going to be here for about 30 minutes. Let's go.
In 2009, the popular true crime TV show Cops just happened to be in South Florida filming when a truly diabolical crime was committed there. And so cops captured this crime on camera.
What? For real? That's crazy. I love 2009. That was one of my favorite years. Ask my friends.
But someone in their footage was hiding something. And when you know what that something was, it becomes very obvious when you watch. But before we get into today's story, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place because that's all we do, and we upload once or twice every week. So if that's of interest to you, please ask the like button if you can borrow their car for the week, and then when they say yes, spend that week driving around picking up as much roadkill as possible and packing it into their trunk. Picking up as much roadkill as you possibly can and pack it into their back seat in their trunk and then return the car. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. All right, let's get into today's story.
For those of you that don't know, Mr. Ballin has some really long hair. So does his kids, if I remember. For those that are wondering, yes, I am doing this live stream right now because I didn't get an opportunity to get you guys a video earlier today. Or even pre-film one for you guys to watch at your leisure because I had an issue with my car. I had to leave it stranded and then I had to go back and get it. It was a lot. You can look at my Instagram story. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Michael DiPolito grew up in a very rough neighborhood in South Philadelphia where violence, drugs, and prostitution were just normal parts of everyday life. At a young age, like his parents, Michael became an alcoholic. He also developed a very serious drug addiction that he paid for by selling drugs. Michael would eventually drop out of high school, and not long after that, he became homeless and was living out on the streets, sleeping in abandoned buildings at night to stay warm. In 1993, when Michael was still in South Philadelphia, he was arrested for the first time. He was charged with possession of an unknown drug as well as intent to distribute this unknown drug. Court records don't specify what drug this was. However, Michael just did not show up for court, and so a warrant was put out for his arrest. Michael would somehow manage to evade police capture, and by 1997, he had fled South Philly altogether and landed in South Florida in a town called Boca Raton. Shortly after arriving there, Michael was arrested for a second time, this time for offering an undercover police officer $15 in exchange for sex. Michael would plead guilty to soliciting prostitution.
$15, boy. If you don't, I don't even think you can get them. Look, I ain't even gonna say it.
However, he would just get released. A year after the prostitution arrest, Michael was sued by a former girlfriend named Karen Tan, who claimed he was the father of her son, and so he owed her child support. And Karen had a DNA test that backed up this claim. However, Michael, again, would just not show up for court, and before long, Karen just gave up and dropped the lawsuit. Michael was likely very relieved when this happened, because at the time, he was making almost no money through a temp agency. And so after this lawsuit gets dropped, Michael decides, I need to go out and make some real money. And
yo, is it just me, or does he look like an F-boy? Yo, he looks like, when you look at the F-boy in the Urban Dictionary, right next to it is this picture. Look. That's just how I feel.
somehow, on his quest to find a more lucrative opportunity, Michael was introduced to associates of the Bonanno family. And the Bonanno family is one of the infamous 5 families that dominates organized crime across the United States. They are literally the Italian Mafia. And after the Mafia met Michael, they took a liking to him, and they did offer him a more lucrative, albeit illegal, opportunity. They gave him a role inside one of their so-called boiler rooms. A boiler room is not literally a boiler room. Instead, it's a group of fraudsters that use high-pressure sales tactics to steal money from unsuspecting victims. Typically, the way it works is the fraudster will cold call someone and they will tell them that they have this great get-rich-quick scheme, but you gotta give me your money right now if you want to be a part of it. And so when the victim says, okay, that sounds great, and they wire the money along, the fraudster just steals their money. Michael, who was very charismatic and a natural salesman, got really good at tricking people into giving him their money. And so eventually, Michael realized he could make a lot more money if he started his own boiler room, where his commission could be much higher on the money he stole.
I gotta go back. This is the first. I had a complete brain fart. And I just tuned out. I wasn't even listening. You know why? Because there was something on my mind. And I couldn't shake it. I forgot to do this. What up, AOK Mafia? It's your boy Artofkickz, and just like that, we back, but I forgot to do that. My bad. Sorry. Okay, now I can get through this video.
After the Mafia met Michael, they took a liking to him, and they did offer him a more lucrative, albeit illegal, opportunity. They gave him a role inside one of their so-called boiler rooms. A boiler room is not literally a boiler room. Instead, it's a group of fraudsters that use high-pressure sales tactics to steal money from unsuspecting victims.
That's scamming. That's messed up.
The way it works is the fraudster will cold call someone, and they will tell them that they have this great get-rich-quick scheme, but you gotta give me your money right now if you want to be a part of it.
Oh my God. What idiot would fall for that? You gonna call somebody up on the phone. Imagine you getting a phone call, right? And I'm like, hey, look, I got this great idea. Who are you? You don't look. You're gonna want to know who I am as soon as I tell you how great this idea is. All you gotta do is hand over your bank account, and I am gonna make you a multi-millionaire. But we need the funds. We just don't have the funds. But this is how the scheme works. I mean, this is how it goes. All you gotta do. What idiots they used to fool with that? You know what? I ain't never said this before, but I'm going to say it right now. If you got scammed out of your money by some ignorant folks like this, if you was ignorant enough to get scammed, you deserved it. I was just playing. That ain't even right. That's not right. It's not right. I can't feel that way. Nobody deserves to get scammed. That's messed up. You shouldn't even pick up that phone in the first place. If you don't know the number, let it go to voicemail.
And so when the victim says, okay, that sounds great, and they wire the money along, the fraudster just steals their money. Michael, who was very charismatic and a natural salesman, got really good at tricking people into giving him their money. And so eventually, Michael realized he could make a lot more money if he started his own boiler room, where his commission could be much higher on the money he stole.
Look at this fool right here, man. He go. This reminds me of Power. I'm watching Power right now, and Tommy, he keeps trying to branch off from Ghost and do his own thing. He's like, bro, you work for Ghost. Ghost is the leader. He makes y'all rich. Tommy's like, I can do this by myself. I can be rich by myself. That's what this is right here. But this dude is trying to go against the Mafia and start his own boiler room. Now, I don't know if that's the smartest idea. They brought you in this. They taught you this. They can take you out all the way out of the equation. You know what I mean?
And so fairly abruptly, he left the Mafia's boiler room. We don't really know how they reacted to this. And Michael would set up not one, but 2 boiler room scams of his own in South Florida. And by 2002, he had pocketed $155,000 of stolen money. However, he had spent virtually all of it on fancy hotels and cars and phone sex. But
this man is a dummy. He bought phone X instead of real. Nonetheless, all this scamming he doing, he only pocketed what, $125K? That ain't nothing, boy. Some folks don't deserve to ever have money. That much I will say and stand by. Just like some of these lottery winners who blow through their millions of dollars. Like, how? Don't you know how to spend money wisely? Don't you know how to invest? Don't you know how to save money? This man should have never had no money.
Good times would not last for Michael, because in 2002, the police caught on to Michael's boiler room scams and they raided them, and Michael was arrested for a 3rd time, except this time he would go to court, he would stand trial, and he would be sentenced to 2 years in prison, 28 years of probation, and he would be ordered to pay back the $155,000 that he stole.
Look, man, you idiot. Now you gotta pay this money back. It's almost like he borrowed it from them people. How in the world you get 2 years in prison, but 28 years probation? That means you can't fart the wrong way for the next 28 years of your life until you're an old man. You can't even look at somebody sideways. You might go back to prison. 28 years? What? You give me 28 years in jail and 2 years probation, cause I'm gonna be over here. I will be on edge all the time. I might go back to jail. Look, I'd rather just give me to jail.
Michael would only serve 7 months of his 2-year jail sentence.
What about his probation?
But that was more than enough to leave a huge impact on him.
Okay, then that's good to hear.
Michael hated prison. He hated every second of it.
Hey, you're supposed to. You love prison. Something wrong with you.
And so during those long sleepless nights that he was laying awake in his cell, he made a promise to himself that when he got out, when he was released, he would never, ever come back. And so in 2003, when he was released, he immediately entered a sobriety program. He also started going to the gym every morning, and he began studying for his GED, which is a high school equivalency test, because he didn't get his high school diploma. After he successfully earned his...
He was like, forget this mess, man. I'm going to go ahead and get my GED and get me a little 9 to 5 and pay me part-time. That's not even 9 to 5. It's more like 9 to 12, you know what I'm saying?
GED. A couple of months later, he would also start a legal business. It was a digital marketing firm that was called Mad Money, Inc.
Mad Money, Inc. What the heck did he start this business with? How he start a whole business when he ain't got no money?
Over the next several years, Michael would do his very best to stay on the straight and narrow and not get in trouble, and for the most part, he did that. By 2008, Michael was still sober, despite a few setbacks, and he was still very focused on his physical fitness and his health, and his business, Mad Money, was doing quite well, earning him nearly $100,000 a year. But
All right, well, you owe that money to some folks you scam, idiot.
his love life had become a bit messy.
What love life? This man was getting his fix through the phone. He was like, oh, yeah, do it like that. What? Do it like what? You can't even film nothing.
Michael had gotten married back in 2007 to his longtime girlfriend named Maria Luongo, who had stood by him when he went to jail.
Long-time girlfriend. I thought this man was. I thought this was his girlfriend. He got married to a phone?
But that year, in 2008, when Michael was 38 years old, he cheated on Maria with a 26-year-old real estate agent named Dalia Mohammed.
You know what? He probably should have held out for her. Now I was just playing. That's messed up. But she is fine.
Who he met at a Starbucks. And instead of their affair being a quick fling, as they likely both intended it to be, Michael and Dalia quickly fell in love.
Bruh, I swear. Like, did 50 Cent, if you watch it right now, I know you're not, but if you were, is this where you got the idea from Power from? There's even a girl in there named Dahlia. And Ghost cheating on his wife. Spoiler alerts. I'm way many years behind watching this show. Okay, it was like 2014, 2015. Anyway, and Ghost cheating on his wife with a hotter Spanish chick thing, but her name ain't Dahlia. That's a different girl.
And when that happened, Michael went to his wife Maria and he told her, and then he divorced her. Just 3 days after the divorce finalized, Michael and Dahlia went to the courthouse and they got married. The newlyweds would move into...
This fool gets divorced. It's 3 days after your divorce is finalized and you get right back married again? How stupid. I ain't never in my life. He has made a bunch of dumb decisions in his life. I mean, he tried to get on the straight and narrow when he got out. But no, he over here getting married after a freaking divorce 3 days later. Wow. Times were different, man, back in the early 2000s.
A brand new condo that Michael had purchased for them in Boynton Beach, which is a beautiful town in South Florida. And for a time, their life was perfect. They knew it was a little outrageous the way they had met each other and how quickly they had fallen for each other, but they didn't care. They got along great and they were excited about the future. But their perfect life would not last long. On the evening of March 12th, 2009, so only about a month after they had gotten married, Michael and Dahlia were at home in their condo when they heard a knock on the front door. And so Michael went to the door, he opened it up, and much to his surprise, standing on the other side
Maria
was his probation officer, and behind him was a whole bunch of police officers.
Oh, snap. See, he's still 28 years probation. What this man done did. Yo, you know it'd be messed up if they came to arrest him because he cheated on his wife. I told you, man, you can't even fart the wrong way, bro. You going back to jail. You was going back to prison, man. Look, he cheated on her. Now he go. Well, hell, the divorce was legalized, but they might get him on grounds for cheating before the divorce was legalized.
And before Michael could even ask what was going on, the probation officer told Michael that they had received an anonymous call tipping them off that Michael was selling steroids and ecstasy pills and other drugs out of his condo. Michael would tell the probation officer that there was no way that was true. He is not selling any drugs. He's sober. He's not doing that. And so eventually Michael just stepped aside and said, "Please come in, search my condo. I have nothing to hide." And so sure enough, the police, they would go into his condo, they would search it, but they wouldn't find anything, and they would leave.
I was about to make an assumption. My assumption was going to be they found something, but it was planted on him. Not necessarily by the cops, but by whoever's setting them up right now.
And so after the police had gone, Michael and Dahlia found themselves just standing in their condo, completely dumbfounded. But instead of trying to get to the bottom of it right then and there about who had called and why, they just decided it was best for them to just leave their condo for the night and go stay at a nice hotel. And so they packed up some bags, they left their
Still looks like an F-boy.
condo, which was a total mess from the police search, and they went to the hotel and they had a nice night together. The next morning, when they got up and headed down to the parking lot, they saw up ahead, standing around Michael's car, was Michael's probation officer as well as several other police officers. And so Michael and Dahlia are looking at each other like, what is this again? And so they hustle on over to Michael's car, and before they can even plead their innocence to Michael's probation officer, he stops Michael and just says, look, we got another anonymous call, this time telling us that you are selling drugs out of your vehicle, and so we need to search it. And so Michael is just totally beside himself, but he says, look, go ahead, search it. There's nothing in the car. And so sure enough, the police would open up his car, they'd rip it apart, but again, they wouldn't find anything. Over the next couple of weeks, the only thing Michael and Dahlia ever wanted to talk about was what the heck was going on. Who is placing these anonymous calls claiming that Michael was selling drugs out of the condo and out of the car? It just didn't add up. They wanted to believe that this was all just one big mistake, but in the back of both of their minds, they were thinking about Michael's very checkered past and his previous dealings with the Mafia and with people he had clearly ripped off. And so maybe there was someone in his past that was looking to get back at Michael and maybe get him arrested and sent back to jail. Fast forward to March 29th, so 17 days after that first raid on their condo, and that night, Michael and Dahlia had been eating dinner at a restaurant, and when they left and headed out to the parking lot, once again, standing around Michael's car were several police officers clearly waiting for him to return. And so without even needing to ask why they were there, Michael and Dahlia, they go over to them and they just start pleading with them to understand that this is a setup. We do not have drugs in this car. We don't know what's going on here. Please, you gotta understand that someone's doing this to us. But this time, when they searched his car, they would find something. Before we go any further, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, Experian. Back when I was just
I feel like we're about to see the footage. Wasn't cops down in Florida filming an episode? And we're about to get some footage? Like, what the heck, man? Hold on. Where are we? Is this the only story? Because usually Mr. Ballin gives us like 3 stories.
Forget about my $5,000 debt, and my failure to pay it back wrecked my FICO.
I'm scared to look at the comments right now, man, because I feel like y'all are freaking spoiling it, man.
Build my credit score.
I don't know for sure, but I feel like there's some spoilers in the comments.
Process. And so my suggestion to you is to avoid the unpaid beer and calzone credit trap and just closely monitor your credit score. And with Experian, you can do that for free. In addition to closely monitoring your credit score, they will also send you alerts anytime your credit changes. Experian.
Let me check my credit score real quick. You know, that's a good idea. Credit score. Credit. Let me check it right quick. Oh, it tried to do face recognition, but I was making an ugly face and it didn't know who I was. Uh-oh. That ain't good. Why my credit dropped down 20 points? What happened? This ain't good at all. Well, I guess I'm not going to go look and buy that new car tomorrow.
Mr. Ballin. Again, that's experian.com/Mr. Ballin. Okay, back to the story. After searching Michael's car, the police would find a small bag of cocaine stuck inside of a cigarette carton tucked underneath his spare tire in the trunk. And when Michael saw them pull the cocaine out, he began to cry because he knew, even though it was not his and he had not put it there, that he was going to jail because he was going to get arrested for possession and he was on probation and he was screwed. And so he just begins crying and pleading with police to understand that the cocaine was not his. He swears it's not his. Meanwhile, Dahlia, she's looking at the drugs and now she's second guessing herself. Is Michael lying?
I just had an idea. I could be wrong, but I have an idea. What if Dahlia, his new wife, is the one that planted the cocaine there? Genius idea to put in a little cigarette thing underneath the spare tire in the trunk. Genius. Great idea. But what if she's the one that did it? And why? Why would she do such a thing? For one, who else would have access to his car to be able to get inside of it? But the reason being why she could have done it is, and this is just an assumption, maybe she has a family member like a grandma or someone that he screwed over back in his days where he was scamming people. And her way of getting him back is by marrying him, setting him up so the cops can bust him so he can go back to prison. And you know, she's probably going to get some type of settlement if she divorces him. I don't know. I'm just coming up with stuff.
Is he actually selling drugs and he's been lying to me too? But when she sees her husband crying hysterically and looking so sincere, she believes that he's got to be telling the truth. And so pretty soon she was standing beside Michael and pleading with police as well to let them go, that this was totally just a setup. And amazingly, these police officers who were aware of the previous raids on Michael and Dahlia's property, they told them, look, we do think this is pretty suspicious that somebody keeps calling in about you selling drugs and now magically the drugs are in your car. And so what we're going to do is we're going to confiscate this cocaine. We're not going to arrest you. Instead, go home, be safe, call us if you see anything strange, you hear anything strange, and we're going to begin investigating to figure out who is making all of these calls. And so Michael and Dahlia...
What? Yo, round of applause for the cops. This is one of the very few cases where I hear a cop or a group of cops being reasonable, understanding, and sensible. What? This is a feel-good moment right now. I shouldn't have to feel this feel-good moment when it comes to cops. This should already be a thing. But no. Shout out to the cops.
Were totally relieved to hear this. But at the same time, they were kind of terrified because clearly whoever was looking to get Michael in trouble now was prepared to break into his property in order to do it. And so what was stopping them from breaking into their condo and planting drugs in there as well? And so after these police officers left, Michael and Dahlia hopped in the car, they sped back to their condo, and they went inside and they searched it top to bottom, looking for any sign that anyone had recently been in there or if there were drugs or anything illegal inside of their condo. And after looking and finding nothing, they just locked their doors, shut their windows, shut the blinds, and just prayed that the police would be able to quickly identify who was doing this to them and make them stop. But over the next few months, the police would not figure out who this anonymous caller was because the caller stopped calling. And so for a little while, Michael and Dahlia were convinced that the whole ordeal was over and done with, and they basically returned to their normal lives.
Now that's fascinating that the caller all of a sudden stopped calling after the police was kind of suspicious of this caller. Something fishy.
But on August 5th, 2009, roughly 4 months after the cocaine was found in Michael's car, the anonymous caller would come back with a vengeance. On that morning at around 5:45 a.m., Dahlia left the condo, leaving Michael in bed, and she headed out to the local gym to get a workout in. Around 6:30 in the morning, she stepped off the treadmill and she looked at her phone and she saw she had a missed call from a number she didn't recognize, and this number had left her a voicemail. And so she calls her voicemail, she puts it to her ear, and as she's listening, her heart starts to race because it was a Boynton Beach detective telling her there had been some sort of incident at her condo and she needed to come back right away. Terrified, Dahlia grabbed her things and she ran out of the gym, she got in her car, she called this number back, and when the detective picked up, she tried to get more information from him about what this incident was, what happened. And the detective would only say that it involved her husband, and he would explain everything when she came back. And so in a total state of shock, Dahlia turned on her car, and she sped out of the parking lot, and she headed back towards her condo. And when she turned onto her street and saw her condo, she hit the brakes and just stared. In front of her condo were all these police cars with their lights on, and police officers were walking around, and yellow crime scene tape was lining the outside of her property. And inside of the taped off area, there were all these crime scene photographers taking pictures of her condo. And so as Dahlia is sitting in her car at the top of the street, just staring at this crazy scene she's seeing, one of the Boynton Beach police officers sees her and walks up, and after confirming that she was Dahlia DiPolito, he said to her, leave your car here and come with me. And so Dahlia, who knows obviously something bad has happened, but really doesn't know the extent of it, She puts her car in park, she gets out, and she begins walking with this police officer over towards this cluster of 3 people that are standing right in front of her property. And it would turn out one of them was the detective who had called her on the phone. And so Dahlia is led over, and that detective, as soon as he sees Dahlia, he walks over to her, and he says to her very matter-of-factly that someone had called about a disturbance in their condo, and shots were fired, and unfortunately, her husband, Michael, was dead. Dahlia, who was totally hysterical, was gently led away from her condo into a nearby police car, and they would drive her to the police station where they would sit her down and begin asking her questions about her husband.
Oh, no. No. I'm trying to think if this were, let's say roles were reversed and I was in any sort of situation where I come home to a crime scene only to find out that my wife had been shot and didn't make it. I don't need the cops to take me down to the station to question me about my wife. Let me process what has just happened first. I'll talk to y'all in a couple of days. Give me at least 2 days. Wow. Poor thing.
And they would say to her, look, I know you just found this out, but we gotta figure out what could have happened because a killer is on the loose. We need to find this person and stop them. And so at first, the conversation was really just Dahlia crying and the detective kind of calming her down. But eventually, she would tell the detective about the anonymous caller who kept calling the police and claiming Michael was selling drugs.
The cops should know about this part already. I'm like, y'all go do your jobs. Leave an officer outside this place all to protect me, or put me in some witness protection program or something. Y'all need to keep me protected, but go find who did this.
And how she and Michael suspected that, probably the anonymous caller was connected to someone from his past, maybe someone from the Mafia, or maybe one of the victims of his boiler room scam.
Like I told y'all, it could be the Mafia, man. Mafia don't play.
Or it could be any number of other people that Michael had done wrong in the past. And so the detective, he's taking diligent notes and he's listening to Dahlia. And then at some point in a break in the conversation, he says to Dahlia, okay, it's time to get serious. I need to know if you know this guy. And so Dahlia, she was kind of looking down and she looks up, confused what he's talking about. And then the door opens and this huge guy in handcuffs walks into the room.
Come here. Bring this guy in here.
It's him. It's the husband. It's the husband.
You know who this guy is?
No.
You've never seen him before?
Am I?
Never seen him before. Ever.
Do you know her?
Put your head up and look at her.
Put your head up.
I've never seen him.
What were you doing coming out of her house? Get him out of here.
It would turn out Dahlia was lying. She did know who that guy was. Almost immediately after marrying Michael 6 months earlier, she had stolen $200,000 from him, but apparently that wasn't enough for her.
Pause. How did she steal $200,000? You gotta watch out for these pretty ones, man. Hey, you know what's funny? I matched with a girl on Tinder today, right? I downloaded the app to see what the heck is out there, man. Look, I matched with the girl on Tinder today, right? She verified and all. And she like to try to know. Well, you see, look, y'all. Yeah, wait, it's not scrolling. What's happening? Y'all see the girl right here, right? How I matched with this pretty thing, and then she messes me first with a heart. And you know what my response was? What's the catch? You can't trust it. You can't trust it. You gotta watch out now. This woman over here, woo! She done stole $200,000 from him. How? How did he not know this?
She needed the rest of Michael's money as well as his condo. And so she had been the anonymous caller. She was the one calling the police and tipping them off that Michael was selling drugs out of the condo and out of his car.
I knew it was her. She was too pretty to be true.
She was the one who planted the cocaine in the back of his car because she wanted him to get arrested because he was on probation. What
did I tell you? Who else could have put some drugs in his car but her?
and he would go back to jail for a really long time. But when her efforts failed and Michael did not get arrested and so did not go back to jail, Dahlia moved on to plan B. She reached out to one of her ex...
Miss West is tender. She don't really like me. I ain't never, ever met a female off of Tinder before. It's just 99% scammers on there. That's the experience that guys have on there. It's 99% scammers, and the other ones are just not interested. I've used Tinder for 10 years. Not once ever met a female off there.
But when her efforts failed and Michael did not get arrested and so did not go back to jail, Dahlia moved on to plan B. She reached out to one of her ex-boyfriends and she asked him, "Hey, do you know any hitmen that could murder my husband?"
The fact that this woman got an ex-boyfriend that may know the answer to this question. Hey, do you know any hitman that could kill my husband? What kind of men do you deal with, woman? What? Like, you're messed up. This dude is on the straight and narrow, straight and path, living his best life, done met your gorgeous butt. And you want to do this to him? This man had a second chance at life, and you took his life. The edge that he felt with the possibility of going back to prison, forget that. Throw that out the window. You deserve to be put under the jail. Let that pretty face rot away. Gosh, pure evil. Right underneath it. Just pretty, but there's a devil back there.
And the ex-boyfriend at first didn't think she was serious, but when she kept asking him about it and began offering to pay and really was making it clear that she wasn't joking around, the ex-boyfriend basically told her, "No, I don't know any hitmen." And then he, the ex-boyfriend, called the Boynton Beach Police Department and...
That's the ex-boyfriend? Hey, shout out to him. He pulled a good-looking one.
told them about Dahlia and her plan to hire a hitman to kill Michael.
Oh, well, look, you've been exposed. The ex-boyfriend told on you. Rightfully so. You probably did him dirty. I would have told on you, too. She broke my heart, officer. She broke my heart. She called me. She said she needed a hitman. I told her I knew a guy, but I didn't know him like that, you know, because I'm not trying to be involved. I just knew a guy that knew a guy that knew another guy that knew somebody that did some stuff like that. So she called me, and I told her to call him. I ain't look. They had to connect a bunch of dots to get to the hitman. That's all I can tell you. But yeah, so I knew she was trying to murder her husband. But I'm not. Look, I'm giving y'all all the information you need. Look, just make sure I don't get in trouble for this.
And so when the Boynton Beach Police Department found out about this plot, they immediately had one of their undercover agents pose as a hitman and set up a meeting with Dahlia. And so the undercover agent was that huge guy in handcuffs that was led into the room with Dahlia.
No! No! Mr. Balling, you did it again! You did it again! I know this story! When Mr. Ballin pieces together information from stories that you've heard so long ago, I've seen this clip right here before. I know what's about to happen. I didn't realize this was the same story. Now I have all the background story. This is crazy.
And so Dahlia goes to meet the undercover agent, the fake hitman. She gets into his car, and there's a hidden camera in the back seat that's filming her the whole time. And she's caught on camera saying she wants to kill her husband. She gives money to the undercover agent. And then as she's about to get out, the agent turns to her and he says, "Are you sure you want to do this? Because as soon as you leave, it's done. I am going to kill Michael, and you can't stop it." This is Dahlia's reaction.
There was no changing, no, there was no, like, I'm determined
Definitely
already.
you wanna
I'm
do
positive, like,
Okay.
5,000% sure, like, no, when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Like, as soon as he told me I was going to need the money from you, I went, I grabbed it right away, like, we were good to go. Like, with me, you're not going to have a problem, you're not going to have an issue.
And so
Phew. Woo. The fact that this was a stage by the cops means that he's still alive. Yes, he's still alive. But she should be under the jail still. I don't care. Oh my, I remember. Because I remember thinking, I'm like, yo, this woman's attractive. Attractive enough to be taken care of by a good man. But she's evil. She tried to kill this man.
the Boynton Beach Police Department, they have all this information about what Dahlia thinks is going to happen, and they decide they can use this information to set her up in the most elaborate way possible.
Yes. So elaborate. I'm glad they had fun with this. They had fun with this. Man, for her to blatantly sit there and lie and be like, I don't know who this man is. When she know exactly who this man is. She hired him to kill her husband. Girl, you going to jail.
And it just so happened the very popular true crime TV show, Cops, was filming in the area. And so the Boynton Beach Police Department allowed Cops to be a part of this elaborate setup. So they got to film everything that happened. So on the morning of August 5th, Dahlia got up and
I want to see this episode of Cops so bad. I didn't even know.
left her condo at 5:45 a.m.
Hey, if anybody can find some sort of link to where this is, I don't know where it's streaming at. Somebody let me know. I need this. I need to watch this episode.
Headed to the gym, knowing, at least in her mind, that the hitman would be coming to her condo right after her, breaking in and shooting her husband twice in the head, because that was the plan they had come up with that was captured on film. And so after the police see her leave at 5:45 a.m., because they were monitoring the condo, they rushed in, they knocked on the door, and they got Michael to come downstairs. And he had no idea his wife was trying to kill him. And so he comes to the door, he's totally confused, but he goes with them and he's kind of ushered off to the police station. And then for about the next hour, the police set up a very convincing fake crime scene.
Yo. So, Michael didn't even know. The cops didn't warn him ahead of time. They waited to the actual day where this thing was supposed to go down to notify him. Wow.
Right out front of the condo. And then once it was all set up, that detective called Dahlia and left her a voicemail saying that, there's been this incident, you need to come back to your condo. And then a couple of minutes later, when Dahlia called them back and said, okay, I'm coming back to the condo now, that's when the TV crews for the Cops TV show, they kind of set up in the bushes and got ready to film what happened next.
Listen, we had a report of a disturbance at your house, and there were shots fired. Is your husband Michael? Okay, I'm sorry to tell you, ma'am, he's been killed. He's been killed, ma'am. I'm sorry. Listen.
No.
Try to calm down.
No.
Listen, right now, we need to get you to the state.
Somebody give her an Oscar. Somebody give her an Oscar. For your acting. For your acting. Are you doing okay? You're doing okay. But I feel like even somebody with a heart like hers, that's made of coal, may have some sort of sympathy for a situation like this that's so real, in her mind at least, that it would be nothing for her to get emotional hearing that someone has died and pulling up to a crime scene like this. So what she's feeling could be real for the moment, because she knows she needs to put on a show.
We need to get you to our police station. I can't let you in, man. We have to do our job.
After the fake hitman was pulled out of the interrogation room after Dahlia had said, I don't know who
Amber Heard, more like Amber Head.
he is, the detective just stared at her in total silence for a minute. And then he broke the news that he totally knew all about her murder plot and that she was going to jail.
Get her. He's just staring at her, making her feel real uncomfortable like this. I know you did it.
You're going to jail today.
Yeah.
Solicitation of murder. You're under arrest.
What?
That's an undercover police officer.
Yes, sir.
Everything has been recorded.
I felt chills. I just felt some chills when he said that was the undercover police officer that she tried to hire as a hitman. I felt chills. I bet she felt them too. She, you know that sinking feeling when it feels like your butthole falls out? She felt that. She felt that.
Undercover police officer. Everything has been recorded. You were photographed in the convertible when you sat in his car in the front of CVS. What do you want to do? What do you want to do here?
I didn't do anything.
I didn't do anything. Put her in. Look, y'all, don't put her behind the jail. You know, in the pit that y'all dug up for the feces. Put her back there in that hole. She gonna sit here and say I didn't do anything. Woman, did you not hear him say that was an undercover police officer, not a hitman?
Listen to
I
me.
didn't do anything.
You're going
I
to
didn't
jail.
do anything, please. I didn't do anything.
Tell me you didn't do anything. You're going to jail today.
He gotta put it to her in layman's terms. He gotta talk to her like she's stupid. How many times he has to repeat? He ain't gotta say nothing else. He said, "You're going to jail today." We got you on camera, stupid. Oh my God. I didn't do anything. I didn't do. Why are you saying that? Yes, you did. You know you did. And she over here trying to gaslight herself.
As soon as I'm done, they're going to come in here and handcuff you and take you to the Palm Beach County Jail, book you for solicitation of first-degree murder on your husband. Your husband is well and alive.
Yes. Thank you. Ah, he said that they about to book you for soliciting a murder on your husband. Your husband is well and alive. She says, thank God. She only hears certain things. And she wants to respond a certain way. You are not thanking God that your husband is alive. That you know if he actually would have died and you got caught, you would have been doing even worse time than whatever they're about to slap you with. Maybe that's why you're thanking God. They need to give you the full penalty. I don't know what it is, but you should get it. 25 years to life.
Oh, yeah, thank God. No, he doesn't
No,
want to see you. He
he
doesn't want to see you.
Of course not. She says she want to see him. Of course he don't want to see her. Girl, you be lucky I don't choke the life out of you. No, you tried to get me killed.
Dahlia was arrested. She was still sitting in that interrogation room when the Boynton Beach Police Department made a special point of walking Dahlia's husband, Michael, past the open door so she could see him. Here's her reaction.
Oh my God. Come here, please. Come here. Mike, come here.
I remember this now. I do remember her being interrogated in this room. I remember this part too specifically. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Yeah, so I didn't know all that. It was so much of the story that I had never heard about. I knew about her being in the car with the undercover cop trying to set up her husband to be murdered. And I knew that they caught her and this happened. But I didn't know all the other story about him going, with the Mafia and all that type of stuff.
Come here, please. Come here. Why not? I didn't do anything to you. Mike, come here, please.
You know what she gonna try to do. If he was to walk into that room, she gonna sit there with them puppy eyes, with them tiggle bitties and try to gaslight this man.
Come here.
Look at her. She wanna gaslight so bad as,
We'll take her back
The only gas she gonna be lighting is the one that come out of her.
Dahlia was initially sentenced to 20 years in prison for what she had done, but after a retrial because of jury bias, her sentence was reduced to 16 years.
Look at that. She ain't even that cute. She ain't even that cute. Now that I can see her without the potato 99, she ought to be ashamed of herself. Y'all need to go ahead and just give her that whole 20. What? Jury biased? What? What jury in their right mind gonna be on her side? Are you kidding me? Y'all need to flip that. Go instead of 16, double it up. Give her 31, 32. She need more time. She tried. I'm upset. I'm upset. Y'all can see it.
That's gonna do it. If you got something out of today's episode and you haven't done this already, please ask the like button.
No. 16 years. She need more time than that. I agree with you. Oh, heck no, boy. Alright, y'all. Look, I'm about to get up out of here. Man, whoo! This is a crazy story. Thank you, Mr. Balling, yet again, for piecing together information about a story that I only knew partial of. Thank you. Darn it. Never thought I would go through life hearing this story again and knowing this much more about it. But anyway, y'all know what time it is. If you like this reaction, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more if you haven't already. Go check out my man, Mr. Balling's channel. It's amazing. It's one of the best on YouTube, if not the best. 10 times better than mine. Make that 1 million. Go check it out. Hit that subscribe button. And then come back and hit my subscribe button. But anyway, I'm going to catch y'all beautiful people in the next.